Have you ever gone into the grocery store and found something or someone that literally changed your life? It happened to me twice. But let's go back a little bit. I didn't meet my husband at the right time. It was the mid-90s, and I was recently divorced and was in my friend's garage. And this really cute guy came riding up on his motorcycle to visit with my friend's husband. They introduced us. He was newly married. So, not the guy for me, and I was probably not ready to date anyway. Several months go by, and I end up dating somebody that he worked with, and they were actually quite good friends. So we would do things socially, and the three of us really liked NASCAR. So we would get together, watch NASCAR, eat a pizza, and just spend time together. So that was a connection that we all had. Well, several years go by, and my husband now Fred, he and his family moved. But they moved to my hometown. And the guy that I was dating, he and I would go see my family from time to time. And we would see Freddie while we were there. So we maintained a connection, a friendship, but not outside the relationship with the guy I was dating. Well, the guy I was dating, he moved and I stayed behind. And we went our separate ways. Several years go by, and I had tried relationships and they were absolutely disastrous. And I just figured that this was it. I was done. I had my one shot at marriage, and then I was done. So I was in my early 40s and living alone, had my own house, had my dogs, my cat, 3 dogs and 1 cat. And I was happy. I was content. And I went to the grocery store one day, not long after work, and there was a flight suit in my peripheral vision. And of course, it caught my eye. And I thought, oh, he's cute. He turned around, and it was my friend Fred. I was so happy to see him. My eyes flew open wide. I gave him a big hug, and I said, "What are you doing at my grocery store?" And he smiled. He said, "It is now my grocery store. I've been back here for about a year, and it's just me and my son." Hint, hint, he's single now. I thought, oh my gosh, he's single. This is great. He's going to ask for my number. So I quickly put my little fingers on my business card in my purse back in the days that I carried business cards. And I was going to be ready when he asked for my number. And we chit-chatted for a few minutes and got a little bit caught up, and he did not ask for my number. Fine, maybe he was nervous. So we went our separate ways, and I kind of milled it over a little bit, but it was not a big deal. A few weeks later, on a Friday night, here I am with no date, as per usual, and decided to go to the grocery store about 9 p.m. And it would be fairly quiet, and it was very sparse in there, but it wasn't really quiet. There was quite a ruckus going on a few aisles over from me. I thought, what in the world is going on? So, not minding my own business, I went a few aisles over and peered down, and there is Fred and his son Jake. I hadn't seen Jake since he was an infant, and at this point he was, I believe, 8. He had just turned 9 maybe. So I got to go see Fred again for a few minutes and re-meet Jake. So I knew this was going to be the day. He's asking me for my number. So again, poised, fingers on the business card. He did not ask for my number. fine. I'll go home and I'll sulk and continue to be alone with my 3 dogs and cat. And I actually kind of stewed over that over the weekend. And I thought, I'm kind of a catch. So I don't get it, but whatever. I don't need him anyway. Well, I stewed enough that Monday morning, I called to find his number. He was active duty military, so I knew I could call the base locator and get his number. And I waited until lunch and called during the lunch hour because I figured I would get his voicemail. And I left a very generic message. Hey, it's Tracy. So good to have run into you again. If you'd ever like to get together, have lunch, get caught up, let me know. If not, it was good seeing you. I'll see you again at the grocery store. Not 10 minutes later, he called and he asked me to go to lunch. Lunch is perfect because it has a finite end time. I've got to get back to work. And I had my own car, and if it wasn't going well, I could leave anytime I wanted to. So we meet and have lunch, a wonderful lunch. And I told him, I have always been a straight shooter, and you know that. So I don't know if I'll ever have another relationship or not. But if I do, here's what I expect from my relationship. Here's how I expect my partner to treat me. Here's how I expect to treat my partner. And I laid my cards on the table and I said, if you're the man for the job, step up to the plate. And if you're not, we've always been friends and we always will be. So I got to get back to work. See you later. And I'm sure I left him with his mouth hanging wide open. I made my way back to my office. I wasn't but 10 minutes away. And before I even got to the parking lot of my office, he called and asked me to go on a date in the evening time. So we fast forward now, and we've been married just nearly 20 years. Our next anniversary will be our 20th. And I tell you this to offer you some hope that if you've been through a bad relationship or you've not found the right relationship, there's hope that your right partner is out there. And I said my husband and I did not meet at the right time. We actually met at the perfect time. We got to know one another before we ever started dating. And that was just perfect. And the grocery store is called United. And I called it my United. He called it his United. And now we call it our United. Let's go make some waves.